What's up, everybody? My reviews of the Star Wars saga continues with Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. So The Phantom Menace was released 16 years after Return of the Jedi. 16 years had we not seen a live-action Star Wars saga movie. So you have to believe that anticipation was at an all-time high for this movie. Everybody was wondering, hey, can we go see this Star Wars movie and relive our childhood? Hey, is this gonna live up to the expectations of the original trilogy? Are we gonna get iconic characters that we saw in the original trilogy? So if you don't know, Episode 1 in The Phantom Menace was going to be the beginning of the prequel trilogy to the original trilogy of Star Wars films. So the plot of the movie focuses on Jedi Knight Qui-Gon and his apprentice Obi-Wan Kenobi, which we know becomes a major character in future films. They end up finding the young Anakin Skywalker, who we know eventually becomes Darth Vader in the later films, but this prequel trilogy is meant to tell the story of Anakin Skywalker before he turned to the dark side. So Qui-Gon is played by Liam Neeson, and then we also have Obi-Wan Kenobi played by a young Ewan McGregor. Their purpose is to protect Queen Amidala, who is played by Natalie Portman. And while all of this is happening, they have to deal with the mysterious return of the Sith. The Sith are the main antagonist of the entire Star Wars saga, and they're basically the dark side of the Force that is responsible for all of the evil happenings that happen in all of the Star Wars movies. So like I said earlier, as you can imagine, the media coverage for this movie was off the charts. Everybody wanted to see what Star Wars would be like for a completely new generation. Lucas went back to make these movies in order to use the advanced visual effects that had occurred through the 16-year gap. And let me mention that this movie is completely directed and written by George Lucas himself. So as you can imagine, everybody's probably in the theater like, yeah, let's go Star Wars. They see the opening crawl, everything that they remembered about their childhood or their infancy, everything that they remembered, they were probably excited for. Then you get about an hour into the movie and it's just like, what's happening right now? Like, nothing was occurring. This movie is so boring and dry and full of complete nothing that it's almost just painful to watch. Now, I saw this as a youngster in theaters. I was not that old. I didn't know what was going on, but when I went back and looked at this movie later and realized that I could actually comprehend what was going on, I was like, this is actually kind of crappy. To put it bluntly, folks, the movie was a huge disappointment. The Phantom Menace did not deliver on what people had grew to love in the original trilogy. I mean, half of the movie they spent having bureaucratic conversations and talking about Senate meetings and government, you know, chaos and conflicts. Like, it was a bunch of stuff that nobody cared about. And while the original movies contain some sort of political and religious references, that may be true, but never did they take it to the extent of having political meetings held in the movie and us sitting there watching it for 5 minutes at a time just listening to people talking. The plot and character development was off. Lucas had not done a good job of developing this script and trying to develop the characters. And I mean, essentially he killed Qui-Gon, which was played by Liam Neeson. He killed him in the movie, so a major character that got introduced pretty much died. There really wasn't even any funny moments. Like, there was not even moments I laughed, because it was just kind of irritating, because the most irritating thing about this movie is simply Jar Jar Binks. Everybody knows how much everybody hates him. Simply, he just needs not to be in anything else from this point forward. Visually, the movie is astonishing. I have to give it that credit. Lucas certainly used the advanced visual effects that occurred to his advantage, and he created a beautiful movie, but overall the story and characters just fell completely flat. And another thing I do have to give credit to, the antagonist Darth Maul, who was a part of the Sith, he was a very good villain, a very good antagonist, and I really enjoyed his presence. Too bad they pretty much killed him off in the movie, and that was the last time we saw him until the Clone Wars. Even the lightsaber battle at the end between Darth Maul, Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan Kenobi was fantastic. Probably the greatest lightsaber battle in any Star Wars saga movie ever. But you know what? Not even that moment could save this movie. Honestly, I would just suggest you fast forwarding all the way until the end just to see that lightsaber battle and just skip everything else before that. And I can say that because nothing important happens in this movie. Nothing essential that you need to know for future movies happens in this movie. Everything really just stands upon itself, and you can honestly skip this movie if you don't want to waste your time. And that's sad to say, because coming from a Star Wars movie, highly disappointing, especially from a franchise that was so groundbreaking and influential. So because The Phantom Menace did not deliver, and it was a huge disappointment, and George Lucas pretty much crapped on everybody's childhood dream, this movie gets a 5 out of 10 for me. So folks, don't check out The Phantom Menace, just fast forward to Attack of the Clones. That's all I got for my review of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. As always, follow me on social media, JRW the Creator, on Twitter and Instagram, and then go check out my website, jordanrwilliams.com. And as always, I'll see y'all next time.